At LV, our car insurance comes from the heart. That's why we've just launched our new multi-car cover. One policy and one renewal date means it's one simple way for you to save on your family's cars. So just imagine how much you can save by insuring 2, 3, or even more cars with us. To get your exclusive multi-car discount from the Which Insurance Provider of the Year 2017, go direct to lv.com. T's and C's apply.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio. With your host, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Parris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Here we go.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 658. This is your host, Danny, and joining me this week, co-host of the show, we have Parris and Pete. What's going on, guys?
What up?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, man. Parris, not later this week, next week, we're going to be meeting up, man. That's going to be
That's right.
Pretty cool.
Dynamic. Yeah. The dynamic salty Get Down Brothers will be back again.
Yeah, man. So, it's pretty exciting. We're going to talk more about that in the future and everything. So you ready for the whole Destiny event or what, man? A lot of people are still talking about it, man.
Yeah, man. You know, it's interesting. And I won't go too in depth on this part because you can go find this for yourself. But I was watching a YouTube video about this one guy who was talking about why he isn't going to the Destiny 2 reveal. And I'll simply say this. Respect the process. That's all. Look, all the three of us, we've been doing this for over a decade. You deal with people in this industry, PR, all that. You know, you can look, I'm probably the saltiest MO around here, right? So, but I'm never disrespectful. You cannot be disrespectful to the process. You can have an opinion, you can not like something, and you can voice said opinion. Just be respectful. That's it. And I'll leave it at that. But just talking about the Destiny 2 thing, because you and I, the three of us were having this conversation offline. I actually think we should have it online. I guess I'll just jump right into it since we're talking about it. I listen to the Destiny community podcast a lot. Shout out to Pope Bear and those guys over there. I'm actually looking forward to meeting all of them face to face and interacting at the event. But they had Professor Broman on, who, if you're into Destiny, you may remember him from the House of Wolves reveal because he was screaming the whole time. But anyways, he's a really good dude. He's part of the whole Guardian Con thing, and you know, great charity they do with St. Jude's and all that. So you can check that out as well. Which Guardian Con I think is actually June 30th, I believe, in Tampa. But anyways, he was on, and they were obviously talking about Destiny 2 and the whole thing, and they were bringing up what it takes to be a big time streamer. And I have to be honest. And Pete and I, we met a streamer when we were at Assassin's Creed in London. And he kind of talked about this as well. But they were just going into the whole process of the time commitment that you have to have, the slippery slope of not. If you're taking this to the point where it's now you're living, this is how you make money, this is how you put food on the table, not over branding yourself too soon. Whereas new people coming in and they're just hit with a barrage of subscribe, give me money kind of thing. You have to balance that slippery slope between the two. But like I said, the biggest thing for me, and God bless, because you know we're friends with a lot of people that have made this their livelihood, and this is no disrespect to them at all. I want to make that 100% clear, but I can't do it. I cannot. I mean, I got 3 kids, wife, full-time job, the whole thing. Even if that was my livelihood, just my family time commitment, I just could not see me being able to commit, because I mean, Broman was talking about he streams every day. He's basically dropping in 8 to 12 hours a day streaming. I couldn't do it.
God.
I couldn't do
crazy. It. Yeah, I can't do that either.
But again, it's his livelihood, and I totally get it, and I understand it, and I respect it. And again, there's that whole balance of, you know, your private life versus your public life, and again, you're doing all the stuff live. And I'm curious your thoughts on this. I've been talking too much about it, but I mean, what do you guys think about all that?
the thing is, a lot of people see the fun part of streaming, right? Which is playing video games and talking and chatting it up with the community. Those are all the fun things that people would look forward to doing because nobody wants to do the dirty work. And that's the part that nobody really glorifies or focuses on. So it's really difficult for the common person, and it's not meant as a derogatory, term in any way, but the lay person doesn't see any of the hard work that goes into pre-production, post-production of the streams and your video content goes out. For the most part, it's 2017, so a lot of people are already pretty, that's almost like standard fare with the curation of your social media feed. Everybody runs around on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and stuff like that. But getting all of your pre-rolls and mid-rolls and stuff like that, if you do ads, pre-production for, like whatever bumpers come up at the beginning of your video streams, post-production, making sure all the video stuff comes in nice and clean. A lot of people just do gameplay and then just do a voice overlay of the game stuff. So that takes a lot of the time. Like I think you called it a time sink in the past. And then on top of that, you're dealing with advertisers, Twitch communities, YouTube communities, Beam Pro communities, and the people behind those things to try to get, monetization and the whole streaming platform thing in sync and working together. So on top of your 6 to 8 hours of gameplay, you're doing this 4 to 5, maybe 6 hours of side work on top of your normal streaming. At that point, you're 13 to 15 hours in, and then you've got to get a good night's sleep in if you go to the gym. And like you said, family, kid obligations. Where does that all, work? Not just on the gaming side. Like people like Jay's 2 Cents. I've actually started to really follow his story over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a great example. Yeah,
exactly. He's a phenomenal example. Where just in the past year, he actually took that leap of jumping over from full-time work, part-time streamer to now he's a full-time streamer and able to earn and own your future. And one of the things he said in the last one of his last shows was there was no way for someone to truly control your future when you're still working for someone. The only way you truly get that independence is for working for yourself and you guide your personal goal. But going back to the streaming thing, yeah, man, it's you have to tip your hat to everybody in the streaming community that's able to do this successfully, because that's that everybody calls it the 1%, but I want to say it's more of a 5%. There's that 5% of everybody that's able to do this successfully. The Gothalians, I think is what his name is. Yep. Like you said, Professor Bromans, Studi. I could rattle off a bunch of names, and I don't want to do this as a name drop or anything like that. But those are the type of people that can successfully jump out and say, "Yeah, man, I'm doing 5-6 figures at home, playing video games and streaming." That's an amazing accomplishment, and it should be celebrated. But you also got to tip your hat to them for all the hard work that they got to do behind the scenes to make that happen.
Agreed. And just like shout out to our good friend, DJ Knight. He took that leap and he's been very successful, as a Twitch partner now and doing all the stuff that he does with streaming. And, even, we've obviously been dipping our toe in a little bit into it. I reached out to him and he gave me some great tips. Even Marcia over at the Mommy Gamers, she just got the Mommy Gamers. They're a Twitch affiliate now. They've been building their audience.
Good for her, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
Awesome.
And she's doing her thing. I see her posting all the time,
every morning.
Every
morning.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
which is a part of it. You have to be consistent. You have to have your schedule. And, her and I were talking a little bit, and she's been giving me some tips as well. And again, there is no way in hell I'll ever be on that level to do any of that. I just simply don't have the time. But it's a fun little thing to be able to do. Like when I'm playing Destiny or like I've been playing Prey now or Gwent or stuff like that, I'll just throw a stream up, a few people come in, we interact and have fun with it, which is which is probably about the extent of where I'll ever get as far as a streamer goes, but like one other thing on the streaming stuff and just tying to Destiny 2, and I'll shut up about it. Again, Broman's on there talking on Destiny Community Podcast and was bringing up why he's not going to the Destiny 2 event. And his reason for going I was kind of taken aback by it. It shocked me, but it's like, man, that was why I brought it up to you guys. He's not going because for him, being the full-time streamer that he is and the audience that he has, unless he can be at the event and stream live, it's not worth it to him. And he was bringing up the example, like you were talking about, Gathalion. Gathalion and Broman are actually two great examples of this, because Broman was saying when he was at Bungie and they had about 200,000 people watching their stream, he only got about 300 subscribers. Look, I'm sure for the average person, 300 is fantastic, but for him, that's peanuts, right? But he was saying being at the event and not streaming live, he only got about 300 new subscribers. Whereas Gathalion, who was at home and was streaming the event, got 5,000. You know what I mean? And then it was vice versa. When Gathalion was at Bungie, he only got about 300 new subscribers. But then someone else that was at home live streaming the event got thousands of new subscribers. So from a business standpoint, for him, not worth it. So he was saying, look, of course, he would love to play Destiny 2 early and do all that, but he's going to build his brand more by staying at home and interacting with his audience live than he would capturing footage and then talking about it later. And it's like, when I heard that, it's like, holy crap, man.
It makes sense, though.
It does. It makes, and I was like, I totally 100% get what he's saying, because again, this is how he puts food on the table. Look, this isn't how I put food on the table. I'm going like, oh my God, I get to play Destiny 2. Whoa! And I'm going, you know what I'm saying?
But here's the difference, though, because by us going to this event, it will work. It will benefit us because it works for us, because we are a podcast.
We're a podcast. Or
yeah,
like
because
a
of a podcast. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like
but I'm just saying, like for him, he can go. He could go, but it won't work. Like he won't benefit anything out of it.
No, he won't. So, and he brought that up. Sense. He brought that up. That's what he was saying. He was like, look, if you're a YouTuber or a podcast or something where you can capture footage, go back, edit it, and your audience is used to you delivering it to you at a later date, it makes perfect sense, right? Yep. But for him, he makes his money being live. Everything he does is live in front of a live audience. So pre-recorded footage, stuff after the fact, is basically worthless to him. And to me, hearing him say that, like you said, it makes total sense. But then it made me pause and think. It's like, wow, we live in a different world now. We really do.
Yeah, no, it is true, man.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah,
and another thing too, I want to mention, because I know you said that it's tough to be a streamer. I think it's just tough to be a content creator, period, man.
Yeah, it is.
YouTuber, live streamer, podcaster, blogger, whatever it is, it's tough behind the scenes, you know. And one thing I do have to mention, like, I was really, really happy that Pete and his wife Alicia went to the screening this past few days ago. We had it here in Miami. He was there, and the good thing, Pete hasn't seen no clips, nothing. Like, this was I've been
spoiler free. You see that
the whole time. So, Pete, I know right now, I think this is like a perfect conversation, because we're talking about being a content creator without, spoiling the movie or anything like that. Like your opinion and seeing it for the first time, how was it for you?
To be honest, I was kind of getting sick of the oversaturation of, hey, come check out the messengers. Hey, come check out the messengers. I mean, me and you talk daily, right? And so, we're always on each other's social media feeds. But I can definitely see how the normal person would have been like, okay, enough with the messengers. But after seeing the video, I totally get why you have thrown yourself 130% behind it, right? Because your love and passion for podcasting and content creation, period. It's just the next evolution of how do you get, and it's more of a testament to you. You've never been about what can I get? It's always about how can I support other people to push this medium across. And that's one thing that really, really came across. Speaking with Glenn from the Horse Radio Network. Actually, him and I had we before the show, we actually sat down and we talked for a few minutes going over stuff. And just, it was funny how we're not the only ones that have those same issues. For example, we talked about how the three of us, from not just podcasting with each other, but because we've podcasted whether it was me and Danny on Gamertag Radio, Parris with Uncle Gamer, and then now, like you said, we come together like Voltron twice a week. We have kind of like this innate ability to sense how the direction is going, how to keep the conversation going, most of the time with no notes off the top of the dome, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas if we were to have like a guest on the show, like we would almost be stumbling because we kind of don't know what kind of direction that's going to go, when people start, when people are going to stop. We kind of have an idea when people are going to stop talking, with the exception of Danny, because you interrupt all the time. But for the most part, when we work together, whether it's live or whether we're behind a mic, 3,000 miles away, it doesn't make a difference. Like, we can work with each other. And those are one of the things that just comes with time. And that was one of the things that I took away from the preview, or the premiere, which was you have to have the time to sink into this. And this goes back to the YouTube stuff. If you don't think you're going to have the time, you're going to struggle a lot. But again, shout out to
and
Chris.
Be patient.
Yeah, it's going to happen. If you're expecting overnight success, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. But yeah, shout out to Neil, shout out to Chris, shout out to the folks at Adoko's Miami for doing the after party and everything, and supplying some amazing food. Man. If you live in Miami and you're in the Little Havana area and you want some really, really good food, go to Adoko's Miami. It's really, really good. But yeah, there were some moments where I had to look away and maybe dab the eyes because it got a little emotional. But I was thoroughly impressed. It wasn't like watching like Planet Earth on the BBC. It wasn't a standard documentary, right? It focused on podcasting, and it's not just video games podcasting. They're talking about people who do podcasts for horses and everything, equestrian. This is gonna sound nasty, but there's one for the women's flow. Just gonna leave it at that. There's one for marketing, but there was the conversations and the content in that documentary were so cool that it just flowed. And before we knew it, it was over, and it was like, damn, that was a really, really dope documentary. And I was so glad, for you for being able to support it and being a key contribution to the documentary, seeing Parris and I on there, seeing Parris and all his saltiness during our part was phenomenal. So again,
it was so funny.
Shout out to Wildstyle Media, the Messengers podcast, or the Messengers, a podcast documentary, is a great documentary. If you have a chance to be in New York City this coming weekend, please hit up Godfrey if you can. If not, I know they're working on trying to be in other cities. So if you have a chance, check it out. If not, when it does get to iTunes and Amazon, definitely check it out.
Definitely, man. So we're going to take a short break. And once we come back, I have an interview with my boy Freaker. He has a Phantom Dust fan site, which I talked about that a couple of days ago. And we had a very, very long conversation. And also we talked about like, how was it 12 years ago compared to the game now and stuff. So we're going to play that now. And after that, Parris, I believe you have a quick, short impressions of a new game that just came out, right?
Yeah, Prey. Hell, I could do it now if you want. I don't want...
Wait, whoa. We're going to play the interview. And once we come back, we'll do that, okay? Bang, sounds excited. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Back on the scene.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-2737-GTR.
So we have a special guest here. Let me go back. I believe it was like March of 2005. We just started with Gamertag Radio around February and everything. And, I heard about this game called Phantom Dust at that time. And I heard it was going to be only $20. I was really excited. So I found a fan site and I got in touch with the owner of the website. His name is Freaker. And we recorded an interview. He had the Japanese version of the game. and I had him on our show, and we recorded this through a Xbox Live, I believe Halo 2 lobby. It was a cool interview and everything. So 12 years later, we heard now that Phantom Dust is coming out for the Xbox One. So once again, I had to hit up Freaker once again, man. And welcome back. 12 years later, man, right? Welcome back.
12 years later. Yeah, back from episode 3. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man. So how you been all these years, man? It's been a very long time, man.
It has been a long time. I've been great. Just continuing working. I'm in software development, so still doing the same thing. And I moved across the country. I used to live in Los Angeles, but now I'm out in North Carolina.
Okay, cool. That's awesome, man. So you still have your website up, right? Or has it changed throughout the years, or what's going on with that?
So I had a couple of hardcore Phantom Dust players contact me when there were some rumblings about a possible reboot of the game. Asked if I had heard about it, and I said I had, and didn't really plan to do much other than watch and see what happened. Thought maybe the next generation of people would go off and make their their subreddits and their Discords and their Facebooks and all that stuff that didn't exist 13 years ago. So they said, hey, let's show Microsoft their support out there for this. And so I brought the site back up. I happen to have a backup of everything. So I brought the forums back, the site back. I emailed everybody, although most of those emails, of course, bounced back because there was no Gmail or Hotmail or any of that stuff back then.
What made you like, all right, I'm pumped again. I want to do this again. And there's a lot of gamers that have never heard of Phantom Dust. They never played it at all from the original console and everything. So also mention like a little bit about the game. Like, what was it that got your attention back then?
So back then, Ryan Payton was covering the game for XBN and 1UP, EGM, all those guys out in Japan, and had mentioned that this was an action game, but the mechanics underneath were based on trading cards. And I was really into Magic the Gathering at the time and thought that sounded like a neat idea. And when he told me that the game would probably never be released in North America, I imported the Asian version and an Asian Xbox to see what it was about. And it was amazing. There's just been nothing like it. No mechanic that mechanic hasn't been used in any other games, which blows my mind because it's really unique. And especially today with the proliferation of trading card games, I really think that now is the time, if Microsoft wants to do this, is to show people what this game was, what the mechanic was, what was so great about it. And I was pumped for that when I found out that they were going to start working on it.
I don't know if you've seen the leaked video from, I think it was like last year, because there was a different group of developers that were working on it. And I noticed the huge difference compared to that version that it was on Kotaku, and now the version that Polygon posted, which is the one that's coming out soon. Your thoughts about that? Because the reaction so far has been kind of mixed. A lot of people are like, man, what's up with what's up with the graphics and stuff like that, compared to the other ones. So what are your thoughts about that?
I think it's unfortunate, but not unknown for this game to go through its, trials and tribulations, whether it was originally getting released here in North America by Majesco or Microsoft starting a reboot and something going wrong, something not working out, and deciding to cancel that and instead to bring the original back, because you could no longer play the original, even if you had it for the Xbox and played it on 360. You can no longer play it online unless you're willing to, tunnel the local system traffic over the internet using, like Xlink Kai or some sort of system like that. So, I think it's I'm here because I want people to know that that if they never got a chance to play the first game, they really should give it a go this time. It's a neat game. Have you seen the video that was posted yesterday? it's
Polygon, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful, and the game looks so much better than it did originally. Things are so clear, and we're still looking at that, as through a compressed YouTube video. I can't imagine, what the game's going to look like when you play it on your 4K Windows 10 machine or your Xbox One.
I mean, what are your thoughts about the reaction from everybody as soon the video went out? People were expecting this to be like some major AAA title or something. Like, wait, this is just a game from 2004, 2005. I mean, what you think about that, man? Because I love the game. I had a blast playing this game a lot with my brother. So
yeah, I was kind of surprised, but thinking about it, I if people don't follow the game closely but only knew that it was being remastered, they might have thought, that this was a new AAA game when that version is no longer in existence and instead is the original. So I can see that the messaging could be confusing. So I think that's why Adam Ice Cream did the interview with Polygon to help clear up any confusion there might be about what this version of the game is, which is truly a re-release of the original, but in HD and no longer compressing all of the assets. Getting to see everything the way Futasaki-san's team originally intended for the game to look. So I'm super excited, and I know I've talked to many Phantom Dust fans, hardcore fans, since they've been able to see the video, and I haven't talked to one that's not super excited. So that's really,
oh, really?
Yeah. The people I think that say, oh, this doesn't look good or that looks dated or whatnot. I don't think that they were. I think their expectations might have been off, and they probably were not really fans of the game to begin with. But I hope they give it a shot, because it's an amazing game, and I really think that the mechanic holds up as well today as it did 13 years ago.
And see, at that time, it wasn't even about the graphics when I got to play this game. It was more about the gameplay, the mechanics, everything. It was just, that part was very unique for original Xbox title. I think it was, my opinion, I think it was besides Halo 2 and in Halo 1 and a couple other games, I put Phantom Dust up there too, man, because it was a very unique game at that time. So, I'm very excited that it's coming out for the Xbox One and also for PC.
Yeah, I hope there's a much larger audience. All those years ago, the broadband wasn't so popular, so a lot of people that even had this game didn't play it online. So, and that's where the real draw is, right? I mean, it was playing with your friend, a tag team battle against another set of friends that were doing the same, or battling it out free for all, and getting to pick and choose all of the skills that you bring into battle out of the 300 or 374 if you included all the rare skills. Plus, there's talk that they might be able to add additional skills, and they'll continue to balance the game. I mean, all that stuff's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about this, man.
And as far as the graphics go, what did you think? I mean, you said the graphics weren't important, but I thought Phantom Dust was one of the best looking games I'd ever seen on the original Xbox.
Yeah, no, it looked good, but I've never been that type of person. Like, oh my God, I'm all about the graphics. I was more about, man, I want to have fun. Like the game was a lot of fun, and I played it for hours with my brother, man. I will never forget that we had like two separate rooms. So he's playing in his room and I'm playing in my room, and we're like screaming at each other while we're playing online against like 2 versus 2.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know about the game, like the features and stuff. So mention a little bit about like what are the things that they could do online from the original game. Oh, stuff that Adam mentioned on during the Polygon interview.
As far as I'm aware, they were going to try to have feature parity with the original. So the ability to trade your skills with other people online or to sell them for credits and whatnot, I think that will all be in there. I think the the split screen. So it was one of the few games that supported, multiplayer split screen. I think that's going to be there. I, as far as I know, all of that stuff is going to be everything that was included in the original be in that game. And for multiplayer modes, you've got Battle Royale where you've got a free-for-all match with 4 players. You can do one-on-one. You can do tag team battles. And I'm sure that the site, along with Nathan, who is a big Phantom Dust fan and had organized all of the tournaments that we held back 13 years ago, he's on board again for doing the same, but trying to figure out an easier way to do it. Now there's a lot more tools online to organize tournaments and to see what Microsoft's going to do with the Xbox Live Arena portion of the game.
Yeah, I was about to mention that too. If they could add that in the game, I think that will make it even more challenging and more fun, play with other people in the community and stuff. So
sure.
Yeah, I hope it goes through.
I hope they can add the arena support to the game. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. And also it's going to have a single player campaign, right? Which is optional. You don't have to play it if you don't want to, but if you really want to like practice and so on, I think people should definitely try that out too.
I agree. I think they should. And after watching that video where Adam had talked about the fact that multiplayer will be open from the beginning, which was not the case with the original game, where you had to play up through Chapter 3 to open Max Skill Shop to even be able to play online. Which, for somebody jumping into this game thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get this trading card game and battle it out online," to have to go through sort of that 2 or 3 hour tutorial at the beginning of the game before they could even get online is daunting. And so I'm really glad that part of the game has been changed so that you can still go through the single player and earn all your skills and all your credits the way it was intended. But if you want to hop into multiplayer right away, that's also an option for you. But the single player, man, that story was so unexpected for me. Like, I wasn't playing the game for the story. I just wanted to get all the cards, right? I just want to get all the skills. So I thought the story was awesome, and that anybody who is into single player story, especially sort of an older, JRPG sort of style, where mission based, where you're going around and talking to NPCs to gather information about the town and what happened, and I think the story is awesome. I'm super excited to play through it again, although I've already played through it probably 4 or 5 times.
All right, and what about like any advice for those that are curious about the game, don't know much?
Yeah.
Any advice? Like where could they find more information about the game and stuff? And also, like, what are the things they could do if they go online to battle? Like, any advice for those that they want to win a battle online and stuff?
Sure. Yeah, you want to win a battle online, you're gonna have to learn how to build an effective arsenal, for sure, an effective deck. Of course, not to just promote my own site, but all of the people that are on there and the community is fantastic and really helpful. And we really want to help new players get into the game and not just continue to get whipped by veterans of the game. So phantomdusted.com is the site. There's an arsenal builder there. People can publish their arsenals, rate them, comment on them. So if people are looking for a certain deck type, they can go check that out. We have the whole skill list, although it sounds like some of the skills might change, so we're going to have to update that once the game comes out. But there's also a YouTube channel, a new YouTuber. His name is Consento, and he's been posting over the last couple of months some Phantom Dust videos, and he has one about the basics of the game and how to play. I'd really recommend his site. But I'm actually going to be doing an interview with him for an article for phantomdusted.com to let people know that, hey, there's this great channel out there with some Phantom Dust content.
All right, awesome, man. Well, you want me to call you Mike or you want me to call you Freaker? I don't know.
Oh, Mike is fine. Freaker, Mike. It's all out there. If you go to the About Me on the website, it's Ryan Payton, and my names are on there, so it's no secret.
Now, my question is: has Microsoft been contacting you? Because I remember I was listening to episode 3 of GTR, which was recorded a long time ago. During the interview, you mentioned that I believe it was Majesco was contacting you at that time when you had your fan site, and now 2017 now with you with this website. Do you think Microsoft has been contacting you? Maybe any advice or feedback or anything? Oh
yeah, we've been talking with Adam's actually a member of the forum, and when they were looking to try to figure out what were the best skills to give new players as a part of the starter pack, he encouraged feedback from our community. So we helped him tweak the skill list so that people would get started with some decent skills. So Microsoft's been great. They've been nothing but supportive of the site, and I just want to thank all of the Phantom Dust community. I mean, because this wouldn't have happened without them constantly asking Phil Spencer or the media constantly asking him about this game, so that it wouldn't be forgotten. And they're responsible for all the content on the site. The artist that did the site's logo is a huge Phantom Dust fan. The guy who built the Arsenal Builder is a huge Phantom Dust fan and had done one 13 years ago, and redid this new one. So it's really a community that loves this game, and if people get into it, I think they'll see why there's such a hardcore cult-like following for people that got into this game.
Well, that's one of our listeners. We've been going back and forth on Twitter, and he's like, "Look, man, I don't know what you mean that there's a following with this game. The game only sold 100,000 units at that time, the original copy." And I'm like, people gotta understand, like, at that time there was a lot of competition with other games too happening out there too, and I felt like Majesco wasn't really pushing this game here in the States. I mean, they even had it for $20 back then, but at the same time, a lot of people were just still concentrating on playing a lot of Halo 2 and other AAA titles and stuff. So what do you have to say about that, man? Yeah,
Halo 2 was out just shortly before this game. So, of course, that was the multiplayer game for original Xbox at that time. And what I can tell you is those 100,000 copies that were sold, those 100,000 people remember this game. How many games that you played 13 years ago do you remember and are just aching to play more because you can't play the old one online anymore? So this is the fact that it's coming out on both platforms with new Xbox Live built in. I mean, I hopefully I can play it as it's, for the next 10, 20 years, as long as I want. So, I would like to really thank Microsoft, Adam over at Microsoft, Adam Iskreen, and Code Mystics for their work on bringing this back, and not just releasing the original in a 4:3 window, but making it full HD widescreen. If you notice the battle screen, do you remember it used to have a black box around it, and now in that video it's gone. It's full screen now. It really blows my mind that they were able to do that technically. So I want to thank them for all their hard work.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed too is the billboards. Remember the original version, you couldn't even read those, and now with this version, now you can see, the writings and everything from the little billboards in the game. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and for somebody like me obsessed with the game, I'm going to be going around looking at every inch of the game with those new higher resolution texture. So I'm super excited. I'm pumped. I hope it does well. I hope it does well for them.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, so mention your website one more time.
It's phantomdusted.com.
All right, and hopefully I'll see you in 12 years.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Back on the scene.
This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, so we're back here, and Parris, I know you were pretty pumped to talk about Prey right now. Go for it, man.
Yeah, and again, this is very short and sweet because I'm taking my time with it, and this is not a review at all. Just quick impressions. Probably next Monday's episode, I'll be able to give a full review. But thank you to Bethesda. They sent us over a PC review code for Prey. And I've been playing it a little bit this weekend, and it's a single player game, and it is the love child of System Shock in BioShock is probably the best way I can explain this. They got you out on the space station. You got your different weapons, obviously, abilities, things you can do. It has some sci-fi horror elements into it. I do see a little bit of Dead Space in it as well, but I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. I like the slow pace that it has of it. If I had any critique, I guess I should say, is I've gone to just playing it strictly keyboard mouse versus just using a Xbox One controller. Kind of like the controller. I feel it's a little floaty on it. I feel more comfortable doing it keyboard mouse, and I know I've seen some other people that have been playing it on PS4 have talked about the controls as well. So that would just be one thing to look out for. But PC version, it's not the most stunning game in the world. I'm playing it in 4K. I mean, it looks good enough. Again, it definitely gives you that vibe of those late 90s games, which is obviously, like when I talk about System Shock, I mean, you can definitely see the inspiration for it from there. But it's good. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a good game. I'll have a lot more to say next week. But if you're on the fence about it, just sit tight for another week. It's a single-player game. There's no rush to go out and get it day one, in my personal opinion, being single-player only. But, it's a good game. I'm definitely enjoying it. It's a breath of fresh air from some of the other games that have been coming out here in the past 6 to 8 months. And I'll have more to say.
All right, cool. And I believe okay, guys, because, E3 is coming up in a couple weeks. When should we start our E3 predictions? You do it this next week or this week or what?
It's a good question. I'm actually looking at the calendar because we go twice a week. Wow. We probably need to start next week.
Okay. All right, we'll do that. So we're gonna decide behind the scenes which company we should start first. I think we should go with third party first, and then start with the big dogs after that. Like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. So we'll figure that out behind the scenes.
That works for me.
Head over to gamertagradio.com or play.it/gamertag. Listen to our past episodes. And also you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and other podcast directories.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Quick little thing here. The Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2.
Shh.
Okay.
No. How about this?
I haven't seen it.
Since Pete loves to spoil things, I'm just spoil it all right now.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I'm not going to spoil anything because my name isn't Peter. And
wow. Shots fired.
To me, it's fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was great. It felt like seeing old friends again. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. But thanks a lot. All right. Until next time. We're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.